There are moments in life when blending in feels like the safest choice. For Tyler Davis, today was one of those moments. It was a Wednesday morning in Brooklyn, New York. The sky was a dull gray, leftover cloud from last night's storm hanging like a heavy curtain. People walked along the streets, heads down, trying to get through the day without any hassle. The city felt quieter than usual, everyone in a rush to get where they needed to be. Tyler stepped off the subway, clutching his bag a little tighter than usual. He wasn't in the mood for drama, wasn't here for attention. He just wanted to make it through his junior year and maybe, just maybe, get through it without any major problems. But as soon as he entered the large, bustling hallways of Brooklyn High, he felt it. The difference. This school was much bigger than the one in his old town of Erie, Pennsylvania, and it was louder too. The halls were filled with kids chatting in tight groups, their laughter echoing off the walls. Tyler kept his head low, navigating through the crowds as they moved in all directions. Most didn't notice him, but some did. They saw his worn-out sneakers, the faded jacket, the dark, quiet demeanor he carried. A kid in the back of the hallway snickered as he looked Tyler up and down, nudging his friend and making a comment that Tyler pretended not to hear. Tyler made his way to the front office, where a woman behind the counter handed him a schedule with a forced smile. "Welcome to Brooklyn High, Tyler. If you need any help, ask a student leader." Tyler nodded, thanked her, and headed off to his first class. His first lesson was world history. He found a classroom and sat down in the back, near the window. A few eyes darted toward him as he settled in. A kid with spiky hair and a chain around his neck leaned toward his buddy, whispering something while giving Tyler a glance. Both boys chuckled. Tyler focused on the window, zoning out as the teacher started speaking. By lunch, Tyler had figured out the school's rhythm. Keep your head down, avoid conversations, and don't make waves. He found a spot at the edge of the cafeteria, eating a sandwich he'd brought from home. No one joined him, but that didn't bother him. He wasn't here to make friends. Still, he couldn't ignore the glances from across the room. Most came from Carlos, the kid with the spiky hair from history. Carlos had a reputation, always hanging with his two friends, Max and Jordan, who seemed to follow him around like shadows. Max was tall and gangly, always cracking his knuckles, while Jordan was built like a tank, quiet, but the type of quiet that felt ominous. They were all looking at Tyler. Carlos nudged Max, and Tyler could hear the low mutter across the room. "Think he's too good for us, or what?" Tyler didn't respond. He just kept eating, the words rolling off him like water. It wasn't his first time being the outsider. In gym class, Coach Simmons split the group into teams for basketball. Tyler played, but he kept to passing, never taking a shot. He wasn't there for the attention. Carlos shoved past him during a break, slamming his shoulder into Tyler's. "Watch it, kid," Carlos sneered. Tyler stayed silent, just exhaling calmly. It felt like Carlos didn't know what to do when someone didn't react to his provocations. It seemed to confuse him. By Friday, Tyler had gained reputation. "Quiet new kid from out of town, thinks he's too good to talk to anyone," was how Carlos put it. In math class, Carlos sat one row over, muttering things loud enough for Tyler to hear. "Bet this guy can't even figure out basic math. Probably too busy getting handouts or something." Tyler heard every word, but he didn't turn around. He kept his focus on the paper in front of him, letting the comments roll off him. His grandfather, Daniel Davis, a former detective, had taught him how to handle people like Carlos years ago. "Silence can break weak people," Daniel would say, but sometimes silence isn't enough. That afternoon, Tyler received a text from his grandfather. "How's everything? Need me to come by?" Tyler smiled and texted back, "All good. I'll take the train home." As he hit send, Tyler noticed Carlos across the lot, watching him for a moment. It was enough. The next week, things escalated. Paper balls were thrown at him in class, his locker door slammed shut on purpose, and in gym, a stray basketball rolled just under his feet, making him trip. One day, Jordan deliberately kicked Tyler's backpack across the locker room, scattering his books all over the floor. Tyler picked them up, not saying a word, but mentally noting every small act of aggression. He had dealt with worse in Erie, and none of it had been as personal as this. But Tyler stayed calm. His grandfather's training in self-defense had taught him the importance of restraint, but also how to quickly neutralize any threat. He wasn't looking to fight yet. Then came Wednesday after gym class. Carlos, Max, and Jordan were standing near the exit, arms folded, clearly waiting for him. "You've been walking around like you own the place," Carlos said, cracking his knuckles. "We need to fix that attitude." Max added, "Yeah, you think you're better than us?" Tyler looked them over, his voice calm and steady. "What do you want?" Carlos grinned. $20. Transfer fee." Tyler raised an eyebrow. "This isn't what you want." Carlos laughed. "Who talks like that?" Tyler turned and walked away, but the tension in the air was thick. By Friday, rumors had spread that they were going to corner him after seventh period. Everyone knew it was coming, but Tyler didn't change his routine. He packed his things, zipped up his hoodie, and instead of heading straight to the buses, he turned down a path behind the old gym. There they were, 3 of them, standing in a triangle formation, ready for trouble. "You really want to do this?" Tyler asked, his voice steady. Carlos bounced on his heels. "I've been waiting for this." Tyler exhaled. "I'm not here to fight, but I'm not giving you anything." Jordan sneered. Big words for someone who's outnumbered. Tyler didn't flinch. No one's outnumbered when the other side is this dumb. Carlos swung first, but it was sloppy. Tyler didn't dodge. He stepped aside, grabbing Carlos's wrist mid-swing, twisting it, and dropping him to the ground. Max charged next, but Tyler shifted his weight and swept Max's leg, sending him crashing to the pavement. Jordan came at him like a freight train. Tyler timed it perfectly, landing a quick strike to Jordan's ribs before sweeping his feet from under him. 3 down in less than 10 seconds. Tyler stood, breathing evenly, no blood, no bruises, just a calm that felt like it had always been there. Carlos, struggling to sit up, wheezed, What was that?" Tyler looked down at Carlos. "That's what happens when you pick the wrong fight." He turned and walked away. By Monday, the story of the fight had spread, clean, quiet, no showboating. Tyler was now known as the Quiet Storm. He hated it, not because it wasn't true, but because that wasn't his reason for being at school. Whispers followed him through the halls. Girls stared, guys nodded, and even teachers took notice. Coach Torres clapped him on the shoulder. "Heard you handled yourself well. Good leadership." Tyler nodded and kept walking, but not everyone was impressed. Complaints about violence reached the administration. A week later, school counselor Mrs. Carter called him in. "Tyler, just checking in. Heard about some issues. Do you feel safe here?" she asked softly. Tyler shrugged. "I'm fine. People just don't like realizing they're not as tough as they thought." She smiled and didn't write it down. "Well, if you ever need anything, just let me know." Later that day, Tyler sat on the bleachers, watching JV football practice. A quiet kid named Evan, always sketching in a notebook, sat next to him. "Where did you learn to move like that?" Evan asked. "I used to train," Tyler replied. "That was incredible. Thought you were going to break Carlos's arm." "I wasn't trying to hurt him." Evan looked impressed. "Can you teach me?" Tyler paused. "First lesson, you don't train to fight. You train so you don't have to." Evan nodded. "That's exactly what I want." By spring, things had changed. The bullies were still there, but students carried themselves with more confidence. Tyler wasn't just the quiet kid anymore. He was a leader. One day after practice, Carlos approached him. "I ain't here to start anything," Carlos said. "You check me." "I needed that." Tyler nodded. "Then change how you treat people." Carlos walked away. At the end of the year, Tyler received a leadership award. Evan whispered, "Told you." That night, Tyler sat with his grandfather. "You stayed in control," Daniel said. Tyler gazed at the streetlights. "I just didn't want trouble." His grandfather chuckled. "Funny how doing the right thing stands out." Tyler realized true strength knows when to stand firm and when to walk away.